Hello. You can barely see me, I'm aware. Lighting isn't ideal, but we're gonna make this quick. I need to move this. You can't see me at all. Hold on. We're just gonna make it quick. Hello, I am Sophie Vanon. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a fun little writing vlog thing. I don't want to really call this an experiment, but it's kind of an experiment. Today, it's already 1 p.m. by the way, don't hit me up. Today, we are going to go cafe hopping, cafe crawling, whatever you want to call it. We are switching locations every time I finish a chapter in Project What? That's a lot. That's gonna be a lot of words, hopefully. Hopefully, depending on how good at this I am. But the chapters I'm in at the moment are mostly just line editing. So, in theory, writing each of them shouldn't take as long as like typical like drafting. I'm not even gonna throw a word count out or a chapter count out because I genuinely don't know how this is gonna go. So this is just gonna be a let's find out how much I can do in a day. We're gonna go start with my favorite coffee shop near my apartment. I just need to pack up first. I need to find my charger. I don't know where it is. All right, I was gonna take a smaller charger, but just gonna have to take this one, SMH. All right, let's do this. I was gonna try and talk out here with you guys, but it's kind of windy. So I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now. I guess I'll just, hopefully it's not windy when I leave. We'll see, we'll see. Alright, we are done with the first place. It took like an hour and a half to finish that chapter. It took a little bit more rewriting than I expected it to, but that's okay. And now we are on to the second location. I also think I added like 500 or 600 words to the draft doing that, so good stuff. The next chapter I have to work on should be pretty easy if I remember the outline correctly, because it's pretty much just gonna be like 2 scenes. And they're scenes that I know I really like already, so it shouldn't take too much to do this one. So we're gonna go somewhere, hopefully, for just a little bit. And then I need to find a place I can go eat because I'm hungry. I also think I picked a pretty decent day to do this because I live in Arizona, if you don't know. And for the past few days, it has been over 100 degrees here. And today is the first day where it is going to stay around like 90 degrees. So, relatively speaking, and for someone who lives in Arizona, it's pretty nice out right now. I'm not dying. I have my hair down. Like, we're having a great day. And honestly, the last chapter went by a lot faster than I thought it would, so I'm feeling good right now. Hopefully chapter 9 goes as smoothly as I expect it to. Okay, for the rest of my time outside of my apartment, I did not chat with the camera because I was a little too in public. So, kind of kept to myself. Didn't want to do that to other people or myself. So, VoiceOver Me is here to fill in the gaps. First, Ended up going to a very popular tea house here near where I live. Tried out this new like seasonal matcha they have. It was pretty good. I think there was a syrup in it that I didn't really like, so I didn't like totally love it, but I mean, it was matcha. It was pretty good. And then we got right into starting chapter 9. For all of these chapters, I was going back through draft 3 and finding the correct scenes to copy and paste into draft 4 in order for me to work on them, which was a huge boost in word count, but that ultimately didn't mean much because I still had to edit through everything. But thankfully, like I said when I was walking to this location, this chapter was extremely easy to get through. It was like 2 scenes that just need a line edit. I knew I wanted to keep a bulk of what I had written in draft 3, so it was super easy, and on this day I got it done in like 30 minutes. I was in and out of that place so fast. And then once I was done with that, it was a very short ride on the light rail to where I ended up having lunch and finishing the 3rd chapter for today. Finish in that sentence is in quotation marks. I will get to that later, but this place is so good. I had this like fried chicken salad, delicious, and I sat right by the window, so people watching was in full effect. I had 3 scenes, or so I thought, in this chapter, all of which were pretty much just needing a line edit and a little bit more emphasis on character motivation. So pretty quickly after I finished eating, I was able to finish this chapter, or so I thought, as well. Then, after that, I went downtown to go to my 4th location, where things just ultimately fell apart, and then I threw in the towel and went back home. I will let present day me, as in me in the vlog, take it from here, but yeah, it did very much fall apart after this. Okay, we are back. Hello. It is 6:30? It is 6:38 p.m. and things were going great. Things were going excellent. I was having such a good time, super productive. And then things kind of fell apart after location number 3. Not like super terrible. Overall, I got 2.5 chapters done. I thought I got 3 done. That's why I moved on to the 4th location. We'll get into that in a second. But I ended up going to 4 coffee shops today. Well, 3 coffee shops and 1 tea house today. Well, one of them didn't even count as a coffee shop. It's more of like a grocery store with a restaurant in it. 2 coffee shops, 1 tea house, 1 market. That's where I ended up going today. And they ended up writing 2.5 chapters. For anyone paying attention, my whole idea here was to switch locations every time I finish a chapter. What's going on there? Well, the first 2 chapters I finished and the first 2 locations I was at, stellar. Perfect. I did exactly as I expected, or as I intended. Cool. Then, I go to location 3. I get a delicious lunch. It's a salad with fried chicken on top. What's more like? And I end up, what I think, is finishing the 3rd chapter of my experiment here today. It was another set of scenes that I just had to copy and paste from draft 3, give a little line edit, figure it out, bada bing, bada boom. I finished that. And I had at least 1 more location I wanted to go to before wrapping up today. I leave the place I had lunch, I go to this 4th place, and lo and behold, they close at 6. Google Maps said they closed at 8. That's why I wanted to go there last. So, I get there at like 5:35, and I get my drink, and the guy behind the counter is like, hey, we actually close at 6, just to give you a heads up. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Didn't know that. I'll do what I can. And then when I sat down, I realized that I didn't look at my outline good enough. And I had missed not 1, but 2 scenes in the previous chapter. So before the 4th coffee shop ended up closing, I just added those 2 scenes to the previous chapter and was like, okay, we'll work on these once I get home right now. And then I ended up setting up the chapter I thought I was starting before leaving that coffee shop before they closed and coming home. So things were going great until after I ate lunch. There was just a lot of factors going on. One external, I could not control that coffee shop was closing at 6 instead of 8, okay? Try as I might, it was gonna close at 6. And then, yeah, I did completely forget 2 scenes in chapter 10, chapter 11, chapter 10. So, you know, that's awesome. But we're back. I'm going to use this as my last location of today, and I'm just going to finish chapter 10. Do those last 2 scenes that I didn't realize I was missing, and we'll wrap up today and this vlog. And we'll do some final stats and some final conclusions, etc. But this has been a lot of fun today. It is Sunday too, so maybe that was another factor, was the fact that I went on Sunday, and typically, at least in my area, things close a lot sooner on Sundays than any other day of the week. Anyways, that is my update. Things are going great. I'm loving how I'm taking stuff so far. Everything that I've written during this video too has mostly just been editing what I've copy and pasted, which is nice, because at the beginning of Act 1, I was completely rewriting most stuff, and now I don't have to do that as much. I did have to finish one scene where I was pretty much completely rewriting it, but it was mostly just the introduction that I didn't rock with. So once I was done with that, pretty much the rest of the day I've just been line editing. But anyways, we'll leave the rest until after I'm done with this last chapter, and yeah, we'll do all the conclusion-y things. Cool. Hello. Let me get something with a brighter screen. Whoa. It's 9:30 p.m. I did take a little bit of a break to go eat and to watch some YouTube, not gonna lie, but I think around like 8:30-ish, I got back into writing, and I have since finished the last sort of leg of this video and experiment. Chapter 10 is done. I am kind of like revamped in the hype right now for this project. This last scene that I just finished is one that I have always really loved, and this time around I got really nervous that I wasn't going to be able to include it in the book. Like, just thinking about it, I was like, it's unnecessary. Until I realized the biggest thing that it does for the story, and that is it gives my main character the idea that she has figured everything out. She's sort of in her false high. I guess it's not a false high. She's at her high for the act, and it's really important in that way, and I've always had it in this sort of setting, and I've sort of always told it in this same way, and I was really scared I wasn't going to be able to keep it in the book. Just had to take some information out that we've already been told, but that was like maybe like not even 100 words, so that was all that needed to be cut, and then just some light line editing to make it, you know, not sound terrible. But like, yeah, this has always been a scene that I've loved, and finishing it again and seeing it come together in the context I now have for the draft is just very exciting. I think after this I have maybe 2 or 3 more chapters in the book, in the act, not in the book, before Act 1 is complete, which is exciting. I was kind of a low energy after getting home, which is why it took so long to get back into writing once I did get home. But now that I finished that, I am very excited, and I think I might do another chapter before calling it a night. I don't know, but let's talk stats. So, like I said, I went to 4 locations today, 2 coffee shops, 1 tea house, 1 market that happens to sell coffee, but I didn't go to get coffee because I'd had enough caffeine that far into the day. I just went to go get lunch. These places are some of my favorite places to go in my city. I'm sure if you've watched any other writing vlog on my channel, you have seen at least one of these locations. So it was just a good excuse to get out of the house and to go to all these places that I love so much. It's also great because I'm finally back in my apartment and not at my parents' house, which, not to say that there are not any good coffee shops near my parents' house. I had a blast while I was up there for the last 2 weeks, going to all like my old stomping grounds. That's a weird way to say it. Getting to go to all my favorite coffee shops there was great. But I did miss all of the ones that I have found here, where I currently live. So kind of shoving them all into one day and getting to see them all at once was kind of nice. to just be like, hello again to everyone. But anyways, what? Stats. That's what we were talking about. I finished 3 chapters. 2.5 technically still, I realized, because I had already started chapter 8 by the time I started this video, but there wasn't a huge amount of chapter 8 done before I started this, so we're gonna say 3 chapters. I finished 3 chapters today, 4 locations, kind of messed that up, don't worry about it. And final word count for this video, are you guys ready for this? 8,284 words for today. 8,000. Are we serious? That is to say, most of these words were copy and pasted. Not a ton of these words were actually new words coming out of my brain. It was mostly line editing and just adding a little bit of detail into stuff that I've already written before. So during today, I did not sit down and individually type 8,284 words. Do not get that idea. If I were to try this again, I definitely would not get that much words because I cannot draft that fast. Simply, it's not physically possible for me. So, hearing that word count and hearing how long I worked, which was insane at some points, because like chapter 9 literally took me 30 minutes to do. That was incredible. But hearing all of that, I would like to reiterate that most of today was spent line editing and copying and pasting, not drafting. So pretty much the word count is like a cheat because all I did was go into draft 3, select what I needed, put it in the doc, and then like edited it. Still feels amazing. I can't believe I got this much done. Usually chapters can take multiple days to finish. I think it was also the fact that I didn't have to do crazy rewrites that helped, but still insane. 3 whole chapters today, over 8,000 words. I had barely been able to push to 5K until this point. And I think once I'm done with this video, when I end up doing that extra chapter, I might hit 10,000 words today. But this was a very fun experiment to try. I think it was the fact that I kept moving around and seeing new environments, and also the fact that getting from place to place meant having to take a break, that really helped keep the momentum going. And it also helps that like all the coffee shops around my area are super cute and super aesthetic and fun. So it's like, it's nice to be out of the house and to see all these cool places. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I think I definitely want to try this again when I'm just straight up drafting, but instead of every time I finish a chapter, I think I do every like 1,000 words. I think that could be a cool little metric to try. Clearly that wouldn't work for this project at the moment because that would mean I would have had to go to 8 different coffee shops today. Not feasible. Once I am drafting again, maybe like a whole new project. I don't know. I'd love to try this again, but this was very fun. Very, very fun. Please let me know if you've done something like this before, or if you've just, you know, found yourself getting a little slow when writing in one coffee shop and then decided, okay, I need to go somewhere else. And then you like absolutely crushed it. I don't know. Let me know anything and everything in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.